Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Game Room. I'm Malcolm Bradley, and today with me I have Daytona Beach City Commissioner Patrick Henry. Mr. Henry, thank you for being with me.
Anytime, my brother.
All right. Before we get started, Mr. Henry, I like to, anytime I have an elected official in Game Room, I like them to briefly explain the role that they're either currently in or the role that they're running for. So could you briefly tell us what the role of state representative is and the community that you will be representing?
Yeah. Currently, I'm the city commissioner of the city of Daytona Beach. Been in that seat now for 6 years. And I'm in the process of running for state representative. And state representative District 26 covers the Daytona area, all of the land, a little bit of Orange City, and a little bit of Lake Helen.
Yes, sir.
So it's a pretty big zone,
Okay.
or a pretty big area.
Yes, sir. Okay, so you're running for state representative, but you currently are commissioner of Daytona Beach.
Right.
How has that role prepared you for state representative? And also, I want you to speak to some of the accomplishments and achievements that you've made as city commissioner for your tenure.
Well, you know, serving 6 years on the commission has been a challenge. When I first got on the commission, we had double-digit unemployment. Currently now, in 2016, we're at single-digit unemployment, so there has been growth. There was a tremendous downturn when I first got on that commission, and I'm not going to say me alone, but the commission as a whole has guided the city from its worst downturn to now we're at an economic growth that we've never experienced in the city. That has helped prepare me to move on to the next level for Tallahassee politics. I'm able to reach across the board. I'm able to compromise. I'm able to work with the other side to make things happen. You know, we got a lot of people talk about what they're going to do, but my track record will prove that, you know, I've done things. We've made things happen here on the Daytona Beach City Commission.
Yes, sir. You actually just answered my next question, because there's no secret that there's currently a divide between Republicans and Democrats. I was going to ask you, how did you plan on working with them to address policy and move an agenda for the district?
And understand that in Tallahassee politics, the Republican Party is the majority. I understand that going in. But my day-to-day job is I am a therapist at the house next door. And my job is I'm a conflict resolution therapist.
Okay.
So I'm able to reach across the board. I'm able to work with, you know, people. And this is about relationships. Politics is more about relationships than rather what party you're affiliated with. So I'm willing to reach across the board. I'm willing to, you know, extend the olive branch and say, what can we do for the good of all? And so we all get a piece of the pie instead of one side get all the pie.
Yes, sir.
And the other side gets none of the pie.
Also, too, I'm sure with you campaigning, traveling, and canvassing, what are some of the core issues that you hear from people that are voting from you in certain communities? Well,
you know, it depends on what community you're in.
Okay.
In some communities, economic development, job creation is very important. In other communities, then we have you know, water issues.
Yes, sir.
We have environmental issues that's important. And in other communities, there may be something like the Zika virus. What are we going to do to make sure that the state of Florida is safe? So it depends on where you are. But collectively, you put all that together, then you have kind of a mindset going in as to what all the people want.
Yes,
and you
sir.
have to address those issues as you go.
Yes, sir. What are some issues at the top of your list that you'll be fighting to address if elected?
If elected, I mean, one of the main things I'm going to continue to build on is job creation, economic growth. I'm going to work on that during my whole time there. But coming out of the box, we got to address some water issues that people may not be aware of. The state of Florida drinking water comes out of the ground. It's an aquifer. Okay. Okay. And the aquifer is being contaminated several ways. One is from the leaching of fertilizer, and the other one is septic tanks. And one of the big things we're going to work on is in the Spring Hill area, a lot of those houses are on septic tanks. We want to get those houses off of the septic tanks and onto city sewer. Okay. Now to protect our drinking water. We can't do anything if we have contaminated drinking water long term. And that's an issue that the state of Florida tried to address last year with $100 million they put, but it's not enough money.
Okay. Yes, sir. Also, too, you're a advocate for extending or granting rights for felons.
For felons.
Yes, sir. I just want to speak to why that's important to you and why that's important to us as a country and our political process.
Think about this. You do your time. You pay your debt to society. Then it's like, you know, it's double jeopardy. Now they take your rights away from you. I never thought that was fair. I thought if a person does their time, pay their debt to society, then we grant them their rights back, their voting rights as well as their civil. You just give them their rights back. It's the right thing to do.
Yes, sir. and also too, a lot of people sacrificed freedoms and lives for people to have those rights.
Right.
So
right, I agree.
also too, how do you plan to address community and law enforcement? Of course, there's been an increasingly uncomfortable vibe between police and communities. So how do you plan?
It's ironic that you asked that question today. I just left Bethune-Cookman. I was at another forum for voting, but tonight there's going to be a forum with law enforcement and community. And right now we have at least 20 or 30 police departments from around the state who's actively recruiting minority police officers at Bethune-Cookman as we speak. And tonight there's going to be a forum with some of those same officers where there will be elected official, a person from the community, as well as a law enforcement officer at each table to discuss those same issues.
Yes, sir.
And I think, you know, the short answer to that is police departments are going to have to start hiring more minorities.
Yes, sir.
People who look like us to patrol us.
Yes, sir.
And the bigger answer is that these police officers, a lot of them is going to have to be retrained on cultural sensitivity,
yes, sir.
as well as shoot and don't shoot scenarios.
Yes, sir. And when you say training, is training a bigger part of teaching people how not to shoot people of color, or that's just in training how to police people in general? In general,
but it seems like, well, it don't seem like, it's obvious
yes,
that
sir.
people of color who are unarmed are getting shot at a much higher rate than other people of society.
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether it's a mindset which went on in this country for years. When I talk about training, and I've talked with the sheriff-elect and our police chief, Mike Chitwood, and he said, and his mindset is that police officers can be retrained to use firearms or lethal force secondary instead of that being the first option.
Commissioner Henry, we appreciate you being with us today. Before we go, there may be some undecided voters about, you know, who they're going to vote for, but could you briefly just tell them why you're their candidate?
Well, I'm their candidate for several reasons. One, I have a track record. You know, I don't talk negative about my opponent, but he's never held elective office. You know, I've been in this thing, 6 years as a commissioner, and my brother happens to be the mayor of the city of Daytona Beach, and we've been in politics for a lot of our adult life. Another thing that helped me prepare for this, for the last 2 years, I've been going up to Tallahassee, meeting with state senators, state legislators who's already in the position, trying to prepare myself for what this will be like. And not this past summer, but summer before last, I spent a good part of that summer up at Harvard University at John F. Kennedy School of Government, just trying to better prepare myself for government at a higher level than the local level.
Yes, sir.
I happen to work over here in DeLand, so I can bridge that gap between the west side of the county and the east side of the county, which we haven't had a representative that kind of represented the entire county since Joyce Cusack. So I think I would be that voice. I've worked over here in DeLand for 29 years. I live in Daytona, so I have a vested interest in both sides of the county. So that's what makes me feel like I'm the better candidate. My track record speaks for itself. I get things done.
Well said, well said. Well, again, thank you, Commissioner Henry. Thank you for watching the Game Room. This is Commissioner Henry running for Florida State Representative, District 26. We'll see you next time. Bye.